Get ready for Better Together with Kenny and Carol.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Kenny.
And I'm Carol.
And welcome everyone to another episode of Better
Together.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, you know, this is a little different time for us. We normally do the morning coffee show, right?
Yeah, but tonight we're doing a show with Coke Zero.
Coke Zero, yeah. So we got a little bit of caffeine going with us tonight. But welcome everyone to another episode of Better Together. This is just where we take the time to share with you the things that we talk about and discuss when we're out walking around. And we just decided to start documenting some of these conversations. And Miss Carol, I've noticed that now that we're planning these out a little bit better, it feels like the shows are flowing more easily. It's easier to get the topics out in front of us.
Well, you know, we were doing Better Together anyway
yeah,
because
we
we
just
were
not
walking and
yeah.
talking. We just weren't writing anything down.
Yeah.
So
we started
now
doing that.
We're documenting our conversations.
Yeah. So it's causing the production to go a little bit easy. Hey, we're gonna jump right into it. You know, on our last podcast we talked about core values. A good, healthy discussion about the importance of core values. Whether it's your family, which we talked about the Lumpkin family core values, or maybe just an organization, whether it's your company, where you work, your faith-based organization. You can't ignore, the takeaway, Ms. Carol, was you can't ignore the importance of those core values on the journey, right?
That's right. And the one that still sticks out to me is perseverance.
Yeah, that was a Lumpkin family core value.
That was one of the Lumpkin core values, doing something despite difficulty. You know, we actually had this conversation earlier today.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, that's a cool one, which that's affirmation that it is something that's important to us. And I don't think that was you and I that brought that one up. I think that was one of the girls.
That's right.
Perseverance,
It was on their list.
It came from their list. So that's something that they've seen demonstrated in our home, and really, really proud of that. Speaking of them, they're off on fall break. They were on fall break this week. So this has been like a little change in our lives. We've always done fall break together.
We have, but they left us home.
They did. They did. Now, it's probably going to cost the same in terms of they're going to probably eat for 4 people and treat themselves like it's 4 people. But
they have Daddy's credit card.
Well, we're going to see how we feel. Maybe we're going to have to take a pause from a show for a couple of weeks to get our breath or to get some counseling or something.
Your American Express bill.
To get a little bit of counseling. But back to the core values. We did this in the show, but we encourage you to go back, do a family exercise for the core values. Get everybody to just chip in and write them all down, and then go back and look at them and talk about what that means. I think you will really be pleasantly surprised if you can do that as a family, right?
I agree.
All right, so that brings us to today's topic is we're going to talk about looking back and looking forward. You know, as a husband and wife team, we've been married 36
years.
Going on 37 years. It's been great. But, you know, what we've learned as a couple is that there's some things that we need to leave in the past. Just doesn't benefit us to dwell on them. And at the same time, there are some things that we have to keep out in front of us, right? And so you got to know which is which if you're going to have a healthy and vibrant marriage. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to go down our list of both of these different categories in just a minute, and then share those with the audience, Ms. Carol.
Yes, we are.
Let's see. Anything else you want to say before we're going to take a break in a second, but before we get ready to go into that list, anything you want to say before we go into a quick break?
No, I think we're ready for a quick break.
You think so? Okay,
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to jump right back into this show. Okay, Miss Carol, we're back. How's that Coke Zero doing for you so far?
Oh, it's doing good. Not as good as coffee, but it is what it is.
You know, caffeine content, you're right. Coffee has more caffeine per ounce than Coke.
Okay,
So-
I could definitely tell a difference then.
Yeah, coffee's stronger. Yeah, so yeah, a little different. But yeah, we don't want to be too high on caffeine tonight because this is a nighttime show, right? So we got
So
we just
don't
need
wanna
enough to
be
get through
too
the show.
hyper.
Hey, this is the point where we do a quick nonprofit shout out. In our last show, we featured a nonprofit that's been doing some really good work for families families that have been impacted by cancer. As part of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is October. And October is also National Depression and Mental Health Screening Month, right? So we like to send a quick shout out to the DL Handy Foundation and the work that they're doing with mental health awareness. Carol, you and I know you remember this, but we met DL Handy last year at a function,
We
and he's an
actually-
amazing young man.
Nice
Yeah.
young man. We actually went to his annual gala
Yeah.
last year. They raised money to support people coping with mental health challenges.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
This year will be their 5th event, and the theme is the Great Gatsby
Oh
edition.
yeah. Now last year it was like the Christmas
In Paris.
In Paris, yeah. It was awesome. It was in Athens, and this year is it going to be in Athens this
It's
year?
on Saturday, December 20th. It is in Athens.
Yeah.
And the purpose, his foundation purpose is to be a change agent for the community and to lend a helping hand for empowerment and mental health awareness.
Yeah, you know, we also partner with DL Handy Foundation, we being the Brotherhood Club Incorporated, which is another group I'm involved in. They did a great seminar in our hometown earlier this year, and it was great, well attended. And so we're looking forward to attending and supporting the DL Handy Foundation, their event in December. Over 600 people, I remember, attended last year, Ms. Carol. So I
That's a
know it's going
lot
to
of
be
people.
well attended this year. So we're going to put we're going to put a link in case you're interested in purchasing tickets in the show notes so that you can check it out for yourself. So that brings us down to the topic of this show. We're talking about looking back and looking forward, and we've made a list of things we want to share with you. List of things that are best to leave behind, as well as some things that are really important to keep out in front of you as a couple. That's if you want to keep moving forward together in life, right, Ms. Carol? So we're gonna take a look at this list, and I think this is gonna be a fun exercise, Ms. Carol.
Yes, and before we begin, we encourage you to develop your own list with your significant other.
Yeah.
I'm sure some things you come up with will differ from ours, which is normal. Most important thing is that you do it together and you be on the same page.
Oh yeah, I mean our list is not the end all. I mean these are, this is just our list. Do your own list, as Carol said, and and then just kind of do it together and talk about the differences and similarities. That's where the magic happens, is when you develop the list and then you talk about how those items got on the list, right? So this is an exercise in awareness, and then this is an awareness exercise that helps to build unity, not perfection. All right, so let's get started. Some of the things that you leave behind. I'm going to you kick us off, Ms. Carol. What you got first? These are the list of things that you leave behind.
Things that you leave behind are past mistakes. Forgiveness is critical for a healthy relationship. Dwelling on old slights,
Yeah,
arguments, or wrongdoings is toxic
it can be.
and holds the couple back from true connection.
It really can be. Now, is this something that we've experienced, or have we pretty much embraced this and we know how to put things in the past in terms of mistakes?
Well, I think once we discover that once a mistake has been discussed
Yeah.
and a sincere apology has been offered, then we both must make an effort to let it go.
That's right. You can't keep burying it and then leaving the handle up to pull back out when it's when it's convenient, right?
Right.
Well, you remember
You
what
remember
you
when
said.
you right.
Yeah, and we've seen. Listen, now we've seen that happen in relationships.
We have.
We've watched people constantly badger the other person with past mistakes, and it just becomes a burden.
It does.
And I like the word you use, toxic.
Toxic.
It can become toxic to a relationship to constantly be reminded of things that have happened in the past.
That's right. So put it behind you
and
leave it there.
And
So
let it go.
definitely a thing to leave behind.
That's right. All right. On my list, the desire to be right. A marriage, we've talked about this before. Marriage is a partnership. We're not in competition. I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying to beat you. You're not trying to beat me. It's not adversarial. I don't always have to be right, but we have to just be together.
That's right.
So I think you got to put behind this idea, I'm right, you're wrong, because that too can become toxic. This idea of who's right and who's wrong, right?
I'm always right.
Yeah.
Toxic.
It's just something you can't be a person that's got to have the last word.
That's right.
It won't work. So that's got to be behind you. What's next, Miss Carol?
Another one that I really like is controlling tendencies.
Ooh.
Trust and space are vital for a healthy marriage.
Yeah.
Attempting to monitor or control your partner's life or demand that they act a certain way breeds resentment and fear.
Hey, now listen, I'm going to pause you there for a second. I tell you, I see this a lot. I see relationships where one person is constantly controlling the other person.
You got to allow each other to have their own individual freedom.
Yeah.
And a sense of self strengthens the bond.
And let's touch on this because in some of our earlier episodes, we talked about blowing out the candle. You remember that?
Mm-hmm, I do.
We believe biblically when you get married, you become one.
Two shall become
It's
one.
symbolic. You light a unity candle, you blow out the others. Now, this is what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean that you lose your individuality when you blow out that candle. You're still a person, an individual, but something has been created that takes precedence over you as an individual.
Right.
You're still Carol. I'm still Kenny.
Right.
But we've become
united.
United
one.
In God. And so we don't want people to take this as something that says you just continue to be who you are and you be who you are and you run your own separate account and I run my own account and we're going to stay married. There's something that unites you, and that's more important than the individuality. You agree with that?
That's right. I agree with that. Well said.
Yeah, controlling tendencies. It's not all about controlling each other. Let people have their space.
That's right.
That's a good one, Miss Carol.
That's right. So what else you got?
All right, so we're talking about
leave behind
the blame game. Instead of focusing whose fault or who created the problem. I think a really good couple will focus on the solution. If one of us have made a mistake or did something that wasn't good, we got two choices. We can sit there and blame each other for it, which creates negativity, or we can say, "Hey, now how are we going to get out of this?
How are we going to fix this?"
And I think historically,
what's the solution?
Yeah, I think historically, we've made some mistakes like everybody.
We have.
We've made some investments that weren't good.
Mm-hmm.
We've done some things that probably weren't good in terms of our relationship that didn't necessarily strengthen us. But we never sat there to blame each other.
You're responsible for why this happened. No.
Yeah. I mean, it happened. Now, how can we get beyond it?
Right. Let's work together to get a solution.
Yeah, because marriages are not perfect, but you've got to invest in them, and a big part of that investment is being sincere in working together and not blaming the person.
That's right.
So we're not perfect, and I think we're going to continue to not play that blame game.
Not blaming each other.
Yeah.
So let's change gears.
All right. So that's the things we don't do, right?
That's the things we don't do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the things that we need to leave out in front of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you are going places as a couple, you have to keep certain things out in front of you in order to reach your goals. So let's take a look at that.
Yeah. And before we jump into that list, let me say this. Think about it. When you're sitting in the car, you can't look out the front mirror and into the rearview mirror at the same time.
You cannot.
Right. It's really important if you're going somewhere in life, in order to stay focused on where you're going, you got to stay out of the rearview mirror.
That's right. You got to look ahead.
You got to look ahead. So that's what we're talking about. So now we're going to talk about looking ahead, the front.
The
things you keep in
out
front
in
of.
front.
Yeah. The first thing I think I've got on our combined list is forgiveness. Being able to forgive your partner, sincerely forgive them for anything that they may have done that hurt you. And the notes I made here, Ms. Carol, maybe have hurt you on purpose, intentionally, or unintentionally. Sometimes people hurt us and they don't know they hurt us.
Right.
And so
Right.
I think we talked about this off the air earlier. You know, if somebody's hurt you, I think it's important for you to tell them, hey, you know what you said?
That was hurtful.
Yeah, that man, that was mean. Because if you don't tell them that, they won't know. What do you think?
I think you have to tell people, but sometimes it's hard to tell people that was hurtful.
What makes it hard?
I don't know. It's just you just rather,
You rather just keep it and bury it and bring it out and throw it up down the road.
and bring it out. Yes, you remember when you
You
said
just
so and so
violate-
6 months ago.
So you just violate some of that stuff we said was going to leave behind us.
No.
But I think you got to, if it listen, the key is if it hurt you. And
Right.
who can be the judge of that? You're the only judge of
That's
that.
right. That's right.
If as a person, if I've said something that hurt you, and let's assume that it was unintentional, because I wouldn't dare want to hurt you intentionally, but let's just make the assumption I said something that hurt you unintentionally, but I may not realize it unless you say, can I talk to you for a minute?
Right.
That would help me.
Yes, that hurt my feelings. I don't know if you meant for that to hurt my feelings, but it did.
Yeah.
And that's the opportunity to talk about it.
It is. Now I'm gonna put on my banking hat for a minute. One of the things we used to always say is a customer that takes the time to complain, quote unquote, is our best customer. Mm-hmm. You've heard me say that, right?
Yes.
Because the
Yes.
customer that closes their account and don't say anything to us, guess what? We can't do anything about it.
That's right.
And I think a lot of time in marriages, people will bury those feelings, and before you know it, they compound, and they're out.
That's right.
There's nothing they can do about
Right.
it. They close their account.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I think it's important. If somebody's in a relationship, if you've been hurt, let them know. And
Forgiveness.
You got to do it. Forgiveness is something that requires disclosure. I've been hurt. And so we got to accept that forgiveness. All right.
Okay.
That one got a little bit long-winded.
Okay.
We're talking about things to keep out in front of you.
Out in front, high standards for behavior. The most successful couples refuse to accept hurtful or disrespectful behavior from one another from the beginning of the relationship.
Wow.
This sets a standard of respect that protects the relationship from toxic habits.
There's that toxic word again.
It keep coming up.
And I like what you said here, from
From the beginning.
Yeah,
From the beginning.
If you don't, it'll gradually build up and it'll become big. I think about my example of the boiled frog. You've heard me tell this story before. If you put a frog into a pot of boiling water, he'll do everything in his power to get out immediately because it's hot. But if you take that same frog and put him into a pot of room temperature water, he'll swim around. And if you turn it up 5 degrees every few minutes, he'll continue to swim until you eventually get to 212 degrees, which is boiling.
Wow.
And he will still be in the pot attempting to swim, but he will boil to death. The basis for that story is this. A lot of times, bad and disrespectful behavior doesn't just happen all at once. It builds up over time. And before you know it, if you don't do something about it in the beginning, it will build up, and before you know it, you're a boiled frog.
It snowballs.
You can't do anything about it.
Right.
It's done damage that you can't get back.
Right.
So you got to keep those high standards out there in front of you
From the beginning.
from the very beginning. All right, on my list, effective communication. You know, I think a good relationship is built on effective communication, not just communication. We're talking about effective communication. And then you've heard me talk about from a counseling standpoint, effective communication is when you are talking and you're listening. And when somebody's talking, they're talking and you're listening to hear and not to respond. Think about that.
Yeah.
We've talked about how many times people carry on a conversation and they can't wait for the person to stop talking so they can respond
Right.
to what they
Right.
just said. They didn't spend any time
Listening.
listening to what was said. So I think effective communication is listening just as much as it is talking. What about you?
I do. So you gotta listen and process what I'm saying, and not just wait for me to stop talking so you can say something.
Yeah.
You gotta really listen and listen. So active listening,
Active listening is important. Very important. Effective communication.
effective communication.
Yeah.
Another one is shared goals and dreams. Couples who share their aspirations for the future and work together to achieve them move forward as a unified team.
You mean we need to have the same goals, is what you're saying?
If we shared goals,
Yeah.
shared goals and dreams.
Wow. So you're telling me there are people that actually are in a relationship that may have their own set of goals separate from their significant other
Yes, it's people that
do that.
do that, but I just think it works better if you have shared dreams and goals that you're trying to achieve. We're working towards this together.
Yeah.
It provides a sense of purpose and direction that strengthens the relationship when
yeah.
you're working on something together.
And let me throw another element in there that we've experienced, particularly during COVID. You can have some goals, and I can have some goals, but I need to help encourage you on your goals.
Oh,
That's working together.
yes,
You know,
yes.
I know what you're thinking about. What I'm thinking about now. Miss
yep.
Carol had a goal to go back and get her degree, and during COVID, I actually went back and got a degree during COVID. And we supported each other.
We did.
Her
We
degree
did.
has her name on it.
Right.
My degree has my name on
Yes.
it. But we supported each other.
We did.
She encouraged me.
And you were my biggest cheerleader.
And it takes that. That's still a part of shared goals and dreams.
So we accomplished things together
Yeah.
with the support of each other.
So we're going to challenge couples. If you're out there listening, if you got some goals and dreams, make sure your significant other is on board with you having that.
That's right.
You don't need them pulling against you,
need-
as you're working towards that.
That's right.
You need to have
Be
their support.
unified.
Yeah. They may need to fill in the void or do some things to help you get there, right?
That's right. That's right. So
And-
that's why it needs to be we working on this together.
And I'll tell you, from my perspective, when you get to the finish line with some of those goals, it feels a lot better when you can look back and say, you know, I couldn't have done this without you.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Your name should be on my degree.
Well, that's what
as
you
well.
said several times, but I notice
Yeah.
it's not up there. So,
I tried to tell them to put your name on there too, but
yeah.
they wouldn't. But
Wouldn't
never
do it.
mind. Never mind.
Well, I'm really really thankful that we were able to do some things during that COVID period. That, a lot of
Together.
a lot of people just didn't look for ways to be productive during
Right.
that downturn.
Right.
We looked for ways. There were times where all three of us, because the oldest daughter was out on her own, there were periods all three of us were in school, inside the house during that COVID downturn.
The school was shut down.
Yeah.
So Carly was doing work from home as well.
Yeah, we were all busy working towards shared goals. Yeah, part of that
As a
persistent.
family, as a couple.
Yeah, we were doing it. All right, so that brings us down to the next item. We're still looking for things that you need to keep out in front of you. Mutual respect and appreciation. It's always good to treat your partner with dignity and respect. That seems like we shouldn't even have to say that, right?
Even during conflict.
Even when things get tough, you gotta fight fair, right? But you gotta respect each other. You gotta have an appreciation for each other. And I just you've heard me talk about this emotional bank account before. When you can say good things and appreciate your spouse, when the time comes when you have a disagreement, you may have enough in the bank account to help cover up some of those problems, right?
That's right.
So,
That's right.
but
Like
don't let yourself go bankrupt.
Today you found a $2 bill and you brought it home and gave it to me, and that was so sweet.
That's a true story. I was going
Yeah.
into one of our favorite restaurants, got out of the car, it was laying on the street, and I brought it home.
You did, and that was so sweet.
Yep. I made a note right here: mutual respect and appreciation. Speak that love language.
That's right.
A couple weeks ago, we saw Dr. Gary Chapman again. We've seen him a couple times, but he was at the American Association of Christian Counselors conference, and he talked about his book, The 5 Love Languages. But, we've done that in our home.
Speak your partner's love language.
Yeah, we've done it with the girls to learn what their love language is, whether it's attention or, whatever it is. There's 5 of them. You get the book for yourself. But I know your love language, and so it's good to know your significant other's love language and speak it from time to time.
That's right.
That helps.
That's right. And this is one of my favorite things to keep out in front.
Okay.
It's quality time and shared experiences. You got to make time for each other away from distractions like your phones or your children.
Yeah.
You have to engage in hobbies together, going on date nights, and creating shared memories keeps the friendship and the intimacy in a marriage alive.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. Quality time and shared experience. And we do that, right? I think we do that more now that we are, don't have kids in the nest.
Right.
And
It's
this is harder.
easier.
Yeah, it's harder for families that have small ones. You gotta feed them. You gotta put them down. You gotta
do
help them do the homework.
babysitter.
You gotta do a lot of those things. And what we're saying is, we're not saying it's easy, but we're saying try to make some time for each other. Quality time. Miss Carol shared the key word there was quality.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Yes. When we're on a date night, I have to let the girls know I don't have my phone for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
So Dad doesn't have his phone either. So we're not available. We're on a date.
Yeah. That's important. Quality time. So here's what I would challenge the listeners to do. Just once a week, sit down and talk with your significant other. Start out at 30 minutes. Just find 30 minutes of quality time to talk. And quality time means you're not talking about the bills, the children, the medical issues. You're talking about things that are important to you as a couple, like, where do we want to go on vacation next, right? Where's some places you want to go? What's a good restaurant we haven't tried? What do you got a taste for maybe this weekend? We're going to cook on the grill and cook something together. This is quality time. You're bonding, you're sharing with each other. So start out with 30 minutes and then try to work your way up from there. You think that's a good idea?
I think, 30 minutes is a good place to start.
Yeah. Yeah, the bottom line about all of this, as we talk about looking back, looking forward, as we close it out, is to always understand that your relationship is an investment.
investment.
Yeah,
That's
it's an
right.
investment, and the more you pour into it,
The more you're going to get out
you're going
of
to get
it.
out of it. Yeah, it's just like anything else you invest in, whether it's your health, your retirement. You got to pour into
Got to
it.
put something into it.
Yeah, you got to pour into it. Well, Miss Carol, that was a lot. I mean, as we look back on those, what you put behind, what you put in front, was there anything that particularly stood out that you may give us challenge, or pretty much we're okay?
I think I used to a lot would say, well, I did that because you XYZ.
Yeah.
So I think I have.
That sounds like a blame thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I used to be guilty of that one a lot, but I
Yeah.
think I've matured and grown in the relationship to where I can, if it's something I did, I can take. I'm responsible.
Yeah. And I think for me, one of the things I need to keep out in front of me, we spent some time on it, and that's probably therapeutic for me. But that whole forgiveness, being able to, if somebody's hurt you, being, as you said, being strong enough to say, hey, that really wasn't cool, and give them a chance to apologize.
Yeah.
So you can move on, as opposed to just keeping it buried, or the silent treatment or whatever. That can be a challenge sometimes. So I think that's something I'll work on a little bit more. Well, all right. So, Miss Carol, I think that's a wrap. Another show in the books.
All right.
I've enjoyed this one. Yeah, this was a good one. We always say that this was our best, but yeah, this was a good one.
Do you like morning or night better?
I think I'm a morning person.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my emotional clock feels a little off right now. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
Next, we definitely going back to the morning.
We got to. We
Yeah.
got to get back to the morning show.
Right. There we go. There we go.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Speaking of the next show, our next show is we're going to be talking about sharpening the blade. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to leave you in suspense on that. We're not going to tell you what it's all about, but just be prepared to talk about sharpening the blade on the next show. So until then, I am Kenny.
And I'm Carol.
And together we are
Better together.